Do you think that there's a difference with sex with that? Like males and females talking to each other, a disconnect, not connected to intelligence, because like, my wife, Brooke, she's not stupid, but like when I talk to her, it's very difficult. Like I feel like I have to be extremely precise, and even when I am extremely precise, like I get the sense that she's not exactly picking up everything that I'm saying. Like either.
Yeah, but I think that has a lot less to do with intelligence and a lot more with you're arguing with someone that has already chosen what outcome they're seeking.
No, not arguing.
And so now you're trying to subvert.
No, I'm not saying in an argument. Just like if I'm trying to explain to her, like she'll ask me what I did today or something, and like rather than just like with a guy, I'd be like just a real quick summary, But like I know I can't get away with that with her, like because she'll just keep asking questions. So like I'll try to answer it in a way that she'll find acceptable. And I find it very challenging to formulate a response that I know that she would find like good, and like it's very taxing.
But again, she has already pre-decided what are acceptable answers,
I suppose.
Whereas a guy is less invested
in the verbal.
So
yeah,
they don't even even if they care when they're asking, they don't care to the level that she cares. Like they don't have a pre-box that it has to fit in. They don't really care what the answer is. Like they do because they're interested, but they don't care about the outcome of the answer, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get it.
Whereas like with women, especially with women, anytime there's any kind of sexual tension at all involved, there are these constraints built upon what they want to fit in this box. And then you can feel that if it's not. Even if they try not to let it on, you can feel that you're letting them down. And there's also the want to please. That's why I do not get along with women where there's any sexual attention, even if I'm not interested in them.
Yeah.
Just because there's too many levels of games and like pre-assumed knowledge and wanting certain answers that I can already see the knots there.
Yeah.
And that makes me uncomfortable.
Well, isn't their brain is different too, where the communication and emotion, like I think it filters through the emotional part of their brain first, and then it goes into their verbal, or vice versa. I forget, but it's very different from how a guy, like women have a lot more meaning in words. I forgot what the study was, what the reference was, but it's always stuck with me since I learned it like 15 years ago. That words just mean a lot more to females, I guess. What was the result of it? I don't know if you have any thoughts about that, but it makes sense to me. Because like
I've read like a lot of those studies, but at the same time, when you're looking at like brain chemistry and stuff like that, they're looking at scans of brains. And it's like, okay, this side we're seeing more electrical firing on this side. That doesn't really mean that it's necessarily operating in a fully different way, because parts of your brain, like not all brains are going to be exactly mapped the same way. So like we know like certain things like frontal cortex handles a lot of stuff, but it's like if you have a rod shoots through your fucking brain and removes part of your brain matter, you might not even lose an iota of IQ, because other parts of your brain will just pick up that slack and it'll start getting rerouted in different ways. So I'm not entirely convinced that looking at those maps is a one-to-one to where you can say it's operating this way just because most men it operates this way, and it's going their brains could be like this part of the brain operates something that a man's does differently. And so it shoots over here and we think it's going through the verbal part when it's like, no, it's actually going through the same part. It just, that is more that area is more responsible because of the way the chemical ions fire those neurons across their brain. And so it makes it more practical for the female brain to operate this over here versus that over there. And so it's not always a one-to-one, if that makes sense. It gets kind of it gets pretty complicated to explain, but
yeah. Well, one of the reasons why I've wondered that and thought about it in the past and looked up research about it, and I haven't looked up research about it recently, which maybe I should, but
and again, no one knows shit.
Yeah, well, exactly, and Jordan Peterson talks about this, like men and women working in the workplace, and how that's such a new phenomenon, and like nobody knows exactly how men and women should interact with each other in a workplace, and he got railed for this about women wearing lipstick to work. Like, why would a woman wear lipstick to work? It doesn't help them perform their function any better in most jobs, unless what it is. It's a
stripper, or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly, but it's a sexual thing.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. Like putting lipstick on, wearing a shirt that's a little bit tight around the breasts. There's just a lot of these little minor things that a lot of women do to come off, and so do guys, but women have more sexual power. But you look at how guys interact, like just a group of guys, right? It seems very simple, very easy. Guys get along with each other very well. And you throw a woman into a mix of a group of guys, and now you have, well, this guy kind of likes her, and now this guy's kind of liking her, and it seems like she likes this guy, and it really, I don't want to make it sound super negative, but like, it's not as efficient.
No.
Yeah.
Not even close. Well, yeah. Women just aren't as efficient as men.
No.
But again, I think typically they're a lot less logical than men.
Mm-hmm.
And even when a man is not logical, they still understand the hierarchy. Like, they might not understand logic, but they understand logic when they hear it, and they understand that that's the chain of command. Like, if a guy breaks down something super logical to them, even if they don't fully get it, they understand that what they're hearing makes sense. Whereas a woman will not listen to logic or reason at all if they don't feel like it.
Yeah.
They just won't.
Well, how I was saying that, like, I did that research into the women's brains. I was actually doing that because, how bitter I was for a long time because I thought no girls liked me and stuff like that. That's why I was doing this research. And during that same research,
You're the world's hottest incel. It was hilarious.
No, I'm not.
You were.
No, I wasn't.
You're not now.
The world's hottest incel actually ended up killing a bunch of people. I forgot what his name was. He lived in California or something. But there was a guy who's known as the world's hottest incel, and he went on a mass killing spree. But anyway, another difference, I guess, is that especially when women become mothers, some of them get this bird brain type of behavior. Yeah. And I guess what the deal is with that is that their focus doesn't run super deep. Their focus remains at surface level so that they can spread it out and pay attention to a lot more different factors at any given time. You got a kid running around, you got something cooking on the stove, you're watching out for predators. Just a bunch of these little things going on.
You got the family name to worry about, who's talking about who. You want to keep your family's name out of the mouths. You want to fly under the radar.
Yeah, well, at the same time, guys are different because they're a lot more like a sniper round rather than a shotgun blast, where men are much better at focusing in on one single thing at a time. Focusing in on a video game, focusing in at marketing at their job or whatever the case might be, and that's always stuck with me, and it's made a lot of sense, and it's helped me kind of adapt to the differences between men and women a little bit better than had I not known that, I suppose.
Yeah, I think the messaging is annoying too, because as society became female dominated, we just get stupid we just get stupid messaging. It's like, treat everyone equally. Well, you do that, and then you're a bad guy. So it's like they just lie too. Women just naturally much bigger liars. And so like because they lie to themselves. And so that translates when they run things that you get these mixed messages, and I think men are just way too more literal in their thinking. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, well, you're telling me to do this, and now I'm in trouble for doing it.
That happens to me all the time. That happens to me all the time, dude.
Like, so it's like, what, you know, and they are comfortable living in these lies. Whereas, like, I think men are much less comfortable living in the lie. Like, even a man that's a liar who's like cheating on his wife, or he knows he's lying and he knows what he's doing is wrong. Whereas women are capable of lying and then totally, not just like totally justifying it to themselves to the point that they're the good guy. Like, completely. To where reality is like a bad thing to them.
Yeah, well, and then it's strange because a lot of women too they seem to be a lot more susceptible to social contagions, I guess.
Yeah, which makes sense. And
their
survival depends on on having a social network, whereas a man, typically, inherently, we kind of know. If I went out into the fucking woods, I do have the capability of surviving. Mm-hmm. Even if you don't, you kind of do. You know? Mm-hmm. You are like an alpha predator. You can fashion and sharpen a stick with a rock and kill something much larger than you by sneaking on it and preying on it and outsmarting. Whereas women just, maybe it's because their mind is more scatterbrained or whatever, but they're much more nesting creatures.
Yeah, well, I guess that makes sense for, child rearing.
And just an inherent knowledge of I can't out-strength something. And so you just don't develop those tools.
Yeah. 36 years old, man, I still have no idea about women, dude. I've been married one for... Yeah.
I told you the quote. I bring the quote up all the time. Like, it's like one of my favorite quotes of all time, but it's Al Bundy. And it's Al Bundy talking to his son. He's like, "Don't try to understand women, bud. Women understand women, and they hate each other."
Yes! Oh, man, I gotta watch that show. I remember when I was little, my parents would never let me watch that. They'd be like, "We're gonna watch, what was the name of that show? Something with children?" Married with Children. Yeah, same. They won't let me watch The Simpsons either, but yeah, I should watch that. Now I bet you. And then there was also what was his name? Artie, kind of the fat dude that was
All in the Family.
All in the Family. Yeah, that was another one that I never watched, but could probably.
Or maybe Family Matters. I get them confused.
No, Family Matters, the ones with Urkel, dude.
Oh yeah. All in the Family.
I'm all over that, dude. I watched plenty of Urkel back in the day.
Yeah, you were a big Urkel guy.